So now I want to take a look on the show at a new film that's out in cinemas now for families. It's called The Amazing Maurice, and it's an animation directed by Toby Genkel and Florian Westerman, and it's one of those films that kind of comes out, and because people don't know a lot about it, they don't go to see it with their family, which is a shame because they miss out on some really, really good films. We previously talked about Mummies and said that it's probably one of the best animated films for families this summer that's come out here in Australia, and people just don't know about it. The Amazing Maurice is in the similar kind of vein. It's a film that tells the story about this cat, Maurice, who calls himself the Amazing Maurice, and he's voiced by Hugh Laurie. And he has this scam going with his friend Keith, a piper, voiced by Himesh Patel, and a whole bunch of rats that are voiced by people such as Gemma Arterton, Joe Sugg. It's a little bit of a Rob. There's a whole cast here that are a who's who of British cinema and theatre. So, and they do this trick where they go into a town, the rats pretend that they've invaded the town, and then the Pied Piper, or kind of the Pied Piper, we learn later there's a real Pied Piper, Keith and Maurice come in and drive them out for money. Now, they've been doing this scam for a while, and one day they turn up at this town where the mayor, voiced by Hugh Bonneville, already has a little bit of a problem going on in that he has this guy called Bossman, voiced by David Lewis, who is driving out the rats, except everybody's food is disappearing and they don't know why. Now, Keith and Maurice soon come across the storyteller of this film, Militia, voiced by Emilia Clarke, who very quickly works out that what the scam is that they're doing and begs them to team up with her to try and find out what this boss man is actually doing and why the town has no food. It then goes on from there. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say this is the best film of all time, but it is an enjoyable film. It is one of those films that you sit down and watch it. People from all ages can go and see this film. I went along and took my parents because they love animated films, and they absolutely loved it. Kids in the audience were absolutely loving it. There's humor all the way through it, but there's also great morals in this film as well about always being there for your friends. It feels weird saying that a cat is friends with rats, but that comes across in it as well, that sometimes you're friends with people that you shouldn't be friends with, but they're your best friends, so you don't break that bond no matter what. And the film does try to do things a little bit differently. It plays around with the fact that Militia is the storyteller, and she drops little bits in there and then turns, like, she breaks the fourth wall constantly. But it's kind of enjoyable to see that because it's something that you don't see all the time, and it kind of sets this apart from all of the other animated films out there. Great suspense. It has a great plot line for how it turns around to what is happening with Boss Man. Might be kind of creepy for younger children, that storyline, but for older kids it'll be absolutely fine. One of the standouts in this is later on you meet the real Pied Piper, who is voiced by Rob Brydon here, and that is an absolutely amazing part. You don't see the Pied Piper for long, but what you do see is truly memorable. The voice cast are absolutely fantastic in this. It's not one of those films where you're sitting there going, "Oh, I know who that is." You get used to the voices very, very quickly, and it ends up being a very, very enjoyable film. So if you're looking for something to do with your kids during this hot Aussie summer, definitely go and check out The Amazing Maurice. It's a really, really good animation that I think a lot of people out there will really enjoy with their kids. I am giving it a 3 out of 5.